When is the best time to take IGF-1 LR3? IGF-1 LR3, this is not an FDA-approved treatment. This is me giving you information on it. So make sure that you're working with a doctor who understands peptides really well, because you'll find in this video that timing is not a minor detail. And this can make or break what you're doing. And then also you want to make sure that you're recognizing the risks when you're taking this particular peptide, because it's not a pulsatile growth hormone. This one has a 20 to 30 hour activation phase. Unlike something like CJC or ipamorelin, which are very short acting, 20, 30-minute pulses of growth hormone, maybe even less. And your body's just going through the cyclic nature. The IGF-1 LR3, because it's got that 20 to 30 hour activation phase, you got to be careful with this. And so especially when it comes to dosing, because if you think about when IGF-1 is the most active, this is when your body is in recovery mode. And IGF-1 helps our brain. It activates BDNF. It helps recruit satellite cells in the muscles, so you get the formation of new muscles with adequate levels of growth hormone and IGF-1. And think of IGF-1 as the workhorse for growth hormone. And so when you're using this, you want to make sure that you're using it in a fasted state. Anytime you've got insulin mixed in with IGF-1 or growth hormone, they just don't play nice together. And so IGF-1, what it does is it binds to the IGF-1 receptor called IGF-1R, which is structurally related to the insulin receptor. And both insulin and IGF-1 LR3 activate overlapping pathways, which once again, make sure you're in a fasted state so you don't have insulin that becomes the dominant peptide. And so the pathways it works on is the PI3K and ATK pathway. And when circulating insulin is elevated, after like a carbohydrate-rich meal or late evening, after a day of eating, insulin receptor occupancy is high, and then the IGF-1R binding sites, they have competition, and the insulin will always win. This receptor competition reduces the peptide's effective signaling. Conversely, if you're in a fasted state, that first thing in the morning, after 8 to 12 hours without food, fasting, insulin levels are at their lowest. And this is when IGF-1R availability is at its peak. And so the peptide can arrive in an environment where it can just bind with minimal interference. And that's a great time to do it. So in the morning or before bed, 90 minutes after you've eaten. The other great time is exercise. Exercise creates this second favorable window through physical training, especially resistant training, like when you're lifting weights, because that triggers GLUT4 translocation, and you elevate the skeletal muscle insulin sensitivity for about 24 to 48 hours following training. So with the highest acute sensitivity occurring within the first 2 to 4 hours post-exercise. So this creates this post-exercise anabolic window that many providers prefer with IGF-1 LR3 administration. I like getting in the sauna. I work with my doctors at Ageless Future. We run the blood labs, and then we put together peptide protocols and cycles that are based on what my labs show. And that's really important. But when you're exercising, one way you can get more of these heat shock proteins and activate a little more of this myostatin inhibition, so you get more follistatin for better muscle building. Get in the sauna after you exercise, and you get a nice little pulse of MOTS-C, or utilize MOTS-C with IGF-1 LR3. Some of the research on exercise and proteins combined effect on IGF-1 in 2021, when it was done, it confirmed that physical training significantly upregulates IGF-1 signaling and downstream anabolic pathways. I know some people will claim like 10 minutes of HIIT training, or I've seen 8 minutes of HIIT training, and you have a 400% increase in growth hormone. I just don't know that that's always factual, but I do know that it can increase it somewhat. And IGF-1, because that's doing most of the work for your growth hormone, make sure that you're testing both of these. So if you time IGF-1 activation and intervention around training and post-exercise, when insulin sensitivity is consistently on the higher levels of insulin sensitivity, lower levels of free circulating insulin, that's where you're going to get the best pulse and the best benefits from IGF-1 LR3. So if you inject it You don't want to go and eat a bunch of carbohydrates right after the injection. You want to give yourself 30 to 60 minutes after administration. You want to make sure that that insulin sensitivity is not in the way, because IGF-1, when you look at your blood labs, you want to say, well, if it's too high, there's some very significant risks. Number one, you can get water retention. Number two is if IGF-1's too high, you create an environment where cancer can thrive. And so this is where balancing it out. If it's too low, that's when you notice bone mineral density issues. You notice more inflammation. You don't get deep sleep as well. I mean, if you think of when we're kids, you go to bed, you slept great, you wake up feeling refreshed, especially if you went to bed early. No different as an adult. So many of you just need to set your timer for sleep. And I like what we call the 3-2-1 method. So 3 hours before you go to sleep, that's when you want to stop eating, get your body in a nice fasted state. 2 hours before you go to bed, stop drinking fluids, unless you love waking up to urinate all night. And then an hour before you go to bed is a good time to get rid of the screens, get rid of any kind of excess stimulation, good time to connect with your partner, your family, and really map out what the next day is going to look like. As you're getting started on any kind of journey when it comes to health optimization, and I imagine you're somebody who's interested in body composition, building muscle mass, maybe you're somebody who's been on GLP-1s and you're like, man, I lost a lot of muscle mass. I lost weight, but I sacrificed some muscle in the process. Well, there's some great peptides coming out soon, like retatrutide, a triple agonist, seems to preserve more lean muscle mass. There's small molecules like 5-amino-1-MQ. Yes, we have a lot more work to do in determining exactly how they can help preserve lean muscle. There's MOTS-C that you can activate through exercise and through sauna. And then by working on these growth hormone releasing peptides, there's several that are FDA approved, like tesamorelin. Tesamorelin, in the clinical studies, they found that it got rid of visceral fat. Almost 20% of visceral fat went away in participants in a matter of 6 months. They also found it helped cognitive decline because tesamorelin is increasing IGF-1. So if you're somebody who wants to go deeper in their health and find out what's the best stack for you, all you need to do is go to agelessfuture.com. My team will take care of you. You schedule your free intro call. We talk about what your health goals are, talk about what it's like to work with us over the course of a year. And if you're somebody who we feel like we can help you achieve your goals, then we'll get blood labs drawn and get those scheduled so that you can meet with our medical team. And then our medical team will put together a very specific cadence for you. So I appreciate you watching this video. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. I'm Regan Archibald. I'll see you on the next one.